So what's going on, guys? Miles back with another video. On today's video, you guys see me. I'm in the stream yard doing something else, trying to create some different content for you guys, trying to get more of a share screen, kind of a feel to it. Not just about me talking, but also giving visuals for you guys to understand better what I'm talking about. So let me share the screen. In today's video, I want to share this with you guys, kind of like a different take on how brutal nature can be, how nature and human nature kind of align in certain ways, and just a different perspective on how the animals and insects, all these different other things kind of deal with relationships as well. I mean, hell, we thought it was bad being human in a relationship, but as we get into this, you're going to see we're going to get into some wild stuff. Now, as you can see from the title, cannibalism, barbed penises, and a whole lot of venom. The 8 most brutal animal courtships. This is going to get, some of this is hilarious. Some of this is brutal truth. So hang on for dear life as we go on through this. And before we get too far into this, guys, just remind you guys to like, comment, subscribe, and share the video if you like the video. So slicing, biting, slashing, cannibalizing, these are not words we would naturally associate with romance, but there is beauty and splendor to be seen in the shadier side of animal mating. So first things first, let's go into the anglerfish. Now, the anglerfish, I think this fish was in Finding Nemo, where this is the fish where it has like the light at the top of it, and it uses it to lure prey into it. So when the prey follows the light, it can bite it and kill the prey. So I'm pretty sure that's what this anglerfish is. So let's check out how mating is with the anglerfish. Some male anglerfish attach themselves to passing females, often wasting away into little more than brainless packets of sperm. This is called parabiosis, where 2 living organisms join together to develop a shared physiological system. Anglerfish are the only known example of parabiosis in nature. Interesting. Let's continue. Anglerfish undergo parabiosis as a response to the vastness of the deep sea, where meetings between the 2 sexes are rare and infrequent. So that means they're not having continual sex on a consistent basis. So this is where things get a little bit interesting. Males bite into the first female they meet because this represents a safer choice than hedging their bets with another female who may never come along. Just imagine you're an anglerfish, right? And in order for you to reproduce, you have to bite and latch onto a female. There's no spitting game, getting her to submit. You have to literally sink your teeth into this individual. Interesting. So to find out how the anglerfish achieve parabiosis, biologist Dr. Thomas Boehm and his colleagues from Max Planck Institution of Immune Biology and Epigenetics in Germany examined the DNA of 31 anglerfish specimens from 10 species. They found that key immune system genes were missing from the anglerfish species in which males and females fuse. Somehow, they have compromised their immune systems to allow for parabiosis without suffering ill effects. So basically, they can use that parabiosis to kind of, use it as a medicine to kind of help us humans. Now, as we go further along into this, I'm not going to read every single paragraph, or we'll be here forever. So I'm going to skip to the great parts, the juicy parts, right? So this is where things get interesting. This is going to get wild. So check out this first sentence, man. Snakes have two penises rather than just one. Now, think about that for a second, guys. Think about you have more than just one penis. Like you just have like a random penis somewhere else, just like on your fucking shoulder, or like this is shit. Just this is the shit in nature that we deal with, or that is known. Now, this is known as hemipenes. These organs allow male snakes to copulate with females from a variety of directions. Interesting. This is especially helpful to the red-sided garter snakes who, during mating time, form chaotic mating balls in which males outnumber females by 100 to 1. 100 to 1. So having multiple penises is just an evolutionary thing to help push your genes along. It gives you a better possibility of procreating. So the situation occurs because both male snakes wake up from their winter sleep before females, which temporarily unbalances the sex ratio. Yeah, so this is what I was saying about the evolutionary. To increase the odds of mating success, hemipenes in many reptile species have evolved complex spines that lock into place during copulation. In red-sided garter snakes, the hemipenes have a large spine that inserts into the female during mating. Interesting. So also, the findings suggest that by contracting her genital opening and vagina, a female may be able to forcefully rebuff male advantage, disrupting an unworthy partner's chance of success. So we got the anglerfish that bites into the female to latch onto her to procreate. Then you have the snake that has hemipenes in order to increase his outcome of procreation. Now, this is a little weird right here as well. Sea slug. So earlier this year, scientists discovered species of sea slug that, in the throes of love, stabs its partner directly in the center of its head with a venomous spur. Wow. So here we go again. You have a species that their term of love is throwing a venomous spear at its head, called the penile stylet. This spur, which is attached to the penis, injects a complex cocktail of hormones directly into its lover's brain, improving odds of mating success. So the brain is like the copulation mechanism to fuse in the sea slug. So this is just one of many reproductive oddities to have evolved in sea slugs before transferring sperm. Some sea slugs kiss by grasping one another's mouth on mouth. Sea slugs can also cuddle after mating, bodies around one another. It's likely that the cuddling may be more akin to mate guarding. What if cuddling for us, what if we're in denial as humans, and cuddling is just a form of mate guarding as well. Makes you think, right? The threat of reproductive success is that their sperm is digested by their partner before it can be used for fertilization. And also, cuddling allows sperm a chance to migrate deeper into the partner's reproductive tract. So, now this is a crazy one as well. All of these are crazy, guys. But the spider one is where things get extremely interesting. So, before we go a little bit further, I just remind you guys to like the video, comment your thoughts below. What do you guys think about this before? What do you guys think about this right now? Because this is wild right here. The redback spider. For male spiders, it's complicated. To prepare for sex, he first needs to ejaculate onto a tiny web and then collect his semen in a pair of syringe-like appendages near the mouth known as palps. So, first of all, he has to create these syringes in his web, and then he has to ejaculate onto the web. These syringe-like appendages, because a lot of these things, we get these things from nature, right? The plane emulates the bird's feathers. This syringe-like appendage, maybe these scientists have gotten these different ideas because they're looking at nature, looking at spiders, all this different other stuff, so that they can come up with ways for medicine or just to improve our society and human condition altogether. All these things are connected, guys. These things are very important for you to understand. If you look at fruit, if you look at the inside of a fruit, whether it's a carrot, whether it's a tomato, if you cut the inside, if you cut a tomato in half, it forms or it is similar to the heart, which means what? It's good for your heart. So all these things are connected. So let's go deeper into this. We're going to have to read all these paragraphs. So locked and loaded, the male spider must then approach a female, being careful not to activate her predatory kill reflex. So hold on for a second. She has an involuntary mechanism inside of her that where if it's triggered, she automatically, involuntarily strikes and kills. So the male spider has to creep, yeah, keep it on the down. So this is what he has to do. So he has to be careful not to activate her predatory kill reflex. And then he has to fill his ejaculated syringes and plug the palps into the female's reproductive passages, which happen to be mere millimeters from her venomous laden fangs. So mating for this redback spider is almost a death sentence. Think about that for a second, guys. Think about that for a second. You're this spider, and just you mating could end your life. Like stuff like this, you're not going to be having frivolous sex like we do as humans because it's too dangerous. So let's go back into this for a second. So, locked and loaded, the male spider must then approach a female. Okay, we've already read that. To limit the chances of being eaten, male spiders must have male spiders have evolved complex dances to communicate their sexual intentions clearly. So just imagine, guys, you had to mate with the female and you got to come up with all these different types of dances like, hey, don't kill me. Don't kill me. I'm just dancing. You know what I'm saying? Like basically you're just like, you got to serenade her and you got to do all this unnecessary stuff. Just imagine if you were the spider, right? This is how we have to understand this as humans because it's crazy. So others offer gifts to the female to keep her entertained while the transfer of sperm takes place. So people talk about their love language and it's, receiving gifts. The female in nature is very similar because just like in the human world, you give gifts to show your love. This spider gives gifts in order to get sex, just similar as men in the human world, to keep her entertained while he's trying to stick his syringes into this woman for mating success. But check this out. But male redback spiders go one step further. While mating, the male balletically somersaults into the female's jaws, encouraging her to take a bite. So basically, he's going kamikaze right now. Basically saying, avoid the passageways dance, avoid, giving her gifts. I'm just going to make sure that these syringes get into her because she's going to chew them and receive them that way. This self-sacrifice offers two bonuses to the males. First, that the longer she takes to snack, the more eggs his sperm can fertilize. The second is that females which have just eaten a male appear more likely to reject the next male that comes along. Crazy. That's crazy, right? Absolutely insane. Isn't it so interesting? You guys comment. Now, this is where it gets even better, guys. It gets even better. So, garden snails. Okay, we're gonna kind of speed this up because I don't want this video to be too long. Try to make it around 30 to 40 minutes. So during their courtship, some species of snail regularly fire chemically tipped arrows at one another, just like garden snails pictured here. So this is their kind of flirting. They're firing chemically tipped arrows at one another. And because snails have both female and male reproductive parts, these arrows serve as love darts. The aim of love darts is not to kill the mating partner, but to introduce bioactive substances that influence the reproductive process of the mating partner, says this doctor. The substances found in love darts include a rich cocktail of special compounds known as allomones that stop sperm from wasting away in the reproductive tract of a potential mating partner should mating occur. Each snail species has its own unique shape of dart. Some love darts are curved like harpoons, some are barbed, some even have diamond-shaped tips like ornate spears. So in the midst of this mating dance, right, they can often kill each other. Isn't that crazy? Do they ever misfire and cause death? I have seen occasional dart shootings that result in the dart going straight through the head of the recipient. But even in those cases, the recipient survived. Interesting. Interesting. Now, the sagebrush cricket. We're going to go back to this image because if I'm not mistaken, that is on top, the female. If I'm not mistaken. Actually, no, it's not. That's the male and that's the female. And we're going to see why. We're going to see why. For sagebrush cricket, sex is all about give and take. The male takes his time during mating, ensuring that as much of his sperm can be transferred as possible. So he's slow stroking. But he must give something of himself to do his wings. So if you look at this picture, this is probably the male with the wings, and she's probably ripping the wings away. So not only does the female sagebrush cricket devour the male's wing during mating, she also drinks the blood-like fluid that leaks from his wounds. Her hunger is such that male body weight can fall by 10% during this arrangement. Interesting. So his wings form as food for the female. And yet the male has more gifts up his sleeve. His sperm are wrapped up in a gooey casing, which the female can, if she requires, snack upon. Yeah. You see this reoccurring thing with, semen being devoured. And you have some women that will, I'll let you guys put two and two together. The curious mating habits of the sagebrush crickets are one of the most spectacular arrangements that have evolved between the sexes. Together, these tactics and strategies are helping zoologists explore the economics of sexual reproduction in animals, occasionally reframing our own understanding. Now, you guys have all heard about the praying mantis. This is not a secret. This is definitely cannibalistic behavior right here. So basically, cannibalism has its benefits, says Nathan Burke, a postdoctoral research fellow at the University of Hamburg who studies mantis mating strategies. It can lead to improved growth, condition, and reproduction for the cannibal, meaning the female. What separates many mantises and spiders from other cannibalistic animals is that they can also cannibalize in a mating context. And it's typically only the female that eats the male. Just imagine, guys. You guys get that urge to have sex. And I'm pretty sure these males get the same urge. But they have to control that urge because they know that one nut is going to be game over. And we're going to find out why. Burke is especially interested in the wrestling matches that some mantis species go through before mating, which involve intense grappling and violent tussles between males and females using their raking forelegs. Should a female win these struggles, the male almost certainly ends up eating. But if a male wins, he stands a good chance of mating. So this is the way they compete and fight for who. How can I say this to make sense, right? This is why women like dominant males. Now, this context is a little bit different, but the dominance factor plays into it. The thing about mantises is that they're most likely to sit and wait predators rather than move around looking for food. They patiently wait for their food to come in, basically saying that they don't eat very often. If you're a sit and wait predator, you don't eat very often, which means what? They've adapted to using, the female has adapted to use the male as a possible food as well, because she's not going to eat very often. Excuse me. Which is why right here it says it's possible that the sit and wait lifestyle is a pre-adaptation for sexual cannibalism. This may explain why cannibalism occurs in other sit and wait predators, such as spiders. So I think this is the last one. Yeah, we're at the last one. I know you guys have been tripping on this article that I found, and I posted this in the community tab. So let's get into the last one, prickly penis seed beetle. Laced with hundreds of sharp spines, whose purpose is to scratch and tear the female's genital tract. Oh man, the penis of the seed beetle makes no sense at all. After all, how could genes for a penis that injures a female's reproductive tract speed through a population? For male beetles, the perks of a prickly penis are clear. Males with longer spines tend to produce more offspring. So basically, that is a bigger, longer, whatever you want to call it, genitalia is an evolutionary adaptation that helps with procreation. So partly because the wounds of the male inflicts act as an entry of a cocktail of nutrient-rich chemicals he produces during sex. But in genetic terms, females can also benefit. In 2021, Swedish scientists bred 2 lines of male seed beetles, one with long spines and the other with short. Then they watched what happened to the females that bred with each subgroup. The female beetles that mated with the males with long spine penises had sons with the same long spines, but the daughter also appeared to inherit more valuable traits in nature. On average, they had larger bodies and laid more eggs in their lifetime. So it's an evolutionary adaptation that helps in nature. So I tried something new with this one. I'll need you guys to comment your thoughts below if you guys enjoyed this. If you want more of my videos like this, let me know what kind of videos you want to see. Maybe videos, not articles. So just kind of give me your feedback in the comment section, and I'll see you guys in the next one, man. Peace.